the results of an audit of the way California ran its elections during the 2021-2022 cycle. That audit gives California a failing grade on election integrity. Joining us to discuss it is Reform California's DeMaio, who led the audit team and serves on the Transparency Foundation board. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Paul.
All right, well, let's get right to it. How bad is it?
It's bad. And in fact, the 10-point methodology that was applied ranges from looking at whether polling shows the public has trust and confidence in elections, to doing audits, a variety of levels of audits of the accuracy of voter lists, to looking at signature rejections, election technology security. And this is not a conspiracy theory report. People can see the report and they can see all the evidence, all of the deficiencies that were found. And California received a failing grade. It failed 9 out of the 10 criteria. And the only criteria it did well on, and I want to give California credit for the Track My Ballot website to give people the ability to track their ballot. But on all other counts, they found inaccurate voter rolls, signature reviews that were not done properly, wild deviations between one county rejecting signatures and another county accepting signatures that were not valid. And that raises issues of equal protection. It could lead to litigation to force the state to clean that up. And then, of course, we did find actual evidence of voter fraud. And it's not hard, Paul, to really find when you look at suspicious ballots. The investigators were able to obtain a list of the ballots that were rejected because signatures were not matched. Now, remember, our voter rolls are really out of date. People, 1 out of 10 households are getting ballots for people who no longer live there. We also know that the signature reviews are not being done properly. Everything is being accepted in mass. Very few are being rejected. But of the signatures rejected, 56% of those ballots did not have a voter step forward and confirm, yeah, that's my signature, or yeah, I tried to vote, despite repeated attempts by election officials to contact them. Oh, it gets worse, Paul. Then the investigators took the 56% of ballots that were not verified by the voters who tried to cast them or someone on their behalf. And the investigators actually spent months tracking them down, interviewing them, calling them, texting them. And actually in the interviews with these individuals who did respond, 14.17% said they did not cast the ballot, that they don't even live in California. And so that 14.17% is absolute direct evidence that someone took that person's ballot and submitted it on their behalf with a mismatched signature and tried to vote. Now, Paul, this is all the things that were caught. What was not caught? Well, as I mentioned, those signature reviews are not being done properly. One county, Sacramento, had a 438% lower rate of signature rejection than the statewide average. And again, we are finding fault with the regulation statewide as not sufficient to review signatures. So we've got a major problem on our hands, and the voters know that. 60% of voters, according to the Berkeley IGS poll in November of 2022, said that they have a serious or major concern that the election could be tilted through fraud. And that means Democrats are concerned, Republicans are concerned, independents are concerned. This is a bipartisan problem, and the media and the politicians of the state of California continue to ignore it, pretend like it doesn't happen, and actually, quite the contrary, they're saying everything is just fine.
The election policies or procedures here in California, a lot like the immigration policies, is you just kind of rush the gate, and sure, a couple get caught, but most get through. You see the similarities between the two situations?
Oh, absolutely. And who's in charge of both those policies? California Democrats. I mean, it's very clear that when they want a problem to occur, they write laws that basically allow that problem to occur. I mean, you see the same thing on homelessness.
But Carl, you know, as you speak right now, your opponents on the other side of the aisle are just saying, "Oh, you're a conspiracy loon, and everything is, the integrity is there. You're just not. You're pointing out just a few small facts and making a big deal about it." What do you say to those people directly?
Well, to those deniers, because when you're denying basic facts and audit results, I would challenge them, number one, look at the polling. The public does not believe you. The public's not with you. Despite the fact the media doesn't want to cover this story, the public sees what's going on. And many people in the public actually are the ones getting these erroneous ballots at their homes. The 1 out of 10 figure that I cited earlier, 1 out of 10 households got a ballot for someone who doesn't live there, or a duplicate ballot, or a ballot for a dead person. I would also just simply say, I've given you receipts. I've given you evidence. You've given me nothing but partisan spin. And so evidence and data is on our side. We've done our part. We did an extensive 18-month audit. We've produced a comprehensive report. It is online at electionintegrityca.com. Anyone can read it. Anyone could look at the evidence and respond to it. But what you're finding is gaslighting. These are the same people who say no one's fleeing California.
Yeah.
These are the same people who say that homelessness is actually going down. I mean, come on. The reality is we have to clean up our elections.
So, but if you're the party in power and you're winning a lot of elections, and in some cases by wide margins, you're not going to be motivated to really fix the system, are you? What's a voter to do then?
Oh, absolutely. The people in power benefit because they're winning the elections. They've got ballot harvesting operations that take advantage of outdated voter registration lists. They're also tilting the scale in elections by using taxpayer funds. The report cites that to try to influence the outcome of an election or the redistricting process. And of course, we've talked about this, Paul, the false and misleading ballot titles on ballot measures. So they benefit from all of these scams. What do? First and foremost, the report does offer evidence that can be used in federal court to sue the state of California for noncompliance for federal voting rights acts. In particular, not maintaining the voter rolls is against federal law, and the disparities between counties on signature reviews raises the question of a lack of equal protection for voters. Finally, here in San Diego County, we are a bit of evidence in the report. In the last election, Democrats reduced polling stations by 87%. Now, who votes on election day? Not Democrats. The polling shows that Democrats prefer mail-in ballots. They have ballot harvesting operations. The polling says that a supermajority of conservative voters, Republican voters, want the tradition of going in to a polling location on election day. Well, in San Diego County, they cut 87% of the polling locations on election day. They used the mail-in process as the justification. And what we saw, and KUSI covered this on election day 2022, when it started raining, long lines, people walked away and didn't vote. That's voter suppression. That's real voter suppression, documented because we don't have enough polling stations on election day. So all of these issues, Paul, allow us the evidence base now to go into a court and file a lawsuit and use those federal statutes to compel state politicians to clean up their act. So I urge everyone, share the report. We're not going to get, outside of KUSI and some of the other reliable sources of news, we're not going to get coverage in the liberal media of this report, but you can share it by going to reformcalifornia.org. It's our top story. You can also go to the website electionintegrityca.com.
All right, Carl, we're out of time, so we got to call the conversation. I do have a suggestion, though, for as it relates to verbiage for ballot initiatives. Why don't we let AI get involved and write those initiatives with no bias? Let Chat GBT or whatever it's called, let them.
Wait until the AI has to do a title on any measure relating to regulating AI. Then you're really going to get some bias.
All right, Carl, have a safe day, and thank you for getting up early with us.
Thanks for watching. Help us break through the censorship of the liberal media by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribe to my YouTube channel.